to the show. Thanks for hanging with a break. We're going to bring in Natalie James in just a few minutes. She's one of the Democratic candidates for the U.S. Senate in Arkansas. She has a certain way of explaining Act Blue that I liked how she explained it, so I wanted to get her take here, and then we'll cut it out and we'll post it up on YouTube, so that way everyone can go take a look at it. So don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you can see all those clips. And also, you don't want to miss this interview that we're talking about with Stuart Rhodes' estranged ex-wife, our future ex-wife, and his son Tasha and Dakota Adams, as they are referred to now. They did change their names. They talk about that in the interview as well. So don't miss that. We're hoping to announce that this afternoon, a time, whether it be Thursday or Friday. Again, we're working with some partners to get this distributed so that way we can get it out to the masses. But right now, I want to bring in a Democratic candidate for the Senate seat in the state of Arkansas, Natalie James. Natalie, how are you?
I am good. How are you doing?
Oh, we are doing fantastic. We're doing fantastic. We've talked a few times, and you go in Twitter Spaces. I've been going to these Twitter Spaces. Yes, and I see you in there all the time. I feel like I almost know you, from the interwebs. And we did a sound test the other day to make sure we were good. But you did something the other day. You explained Act Blue, and you talked about Act Blue because a lot of Democrats out there, and I mean people who are donating to Democratic campaigns, they get kind of confused about like donating to Act Blue. What does that mean? Who does it go to? And you did such a good job explaining it. I really wanted you to come on the show and give us that perspective, because I think a lot of people. Do you think that maybe is their hesitancy sometimes because they don't know what Act Blue is?
That, and they don't know where it's going and what it's for. A lot of times what I'm seeing, people are like, oh, you must have a lot of money to run. No, I'm speaking your voice. This is our voice. So it's us doing this together. It's not just me doing this. I'm running to better represent you and to make sure that you have a voice. So being a good citizen also comes from voting and, yes, donating to candidates that are going to speak for you.
Right, because that's important, because it's not just like money for like television commercials. Like you guys have to make sure that you got water and food, transportation for some of your door knockers, the people who are helping canvass. All that stuff matters, and that's like what you need some of that money for, whether it's you or another campaign.
Right.
But explain that Act Blue, because that is on a tag, because there's Act Blue and then there's the Republican one. Now, I feel like Republicans have always understood that the voters in this country have understood how to donate and why to donate and all that kind of stuff for years. But explain to us that Act Blue, what it means, how it goes to a candidate. I mean, you can use yourself or another candidate as an example. So
all right. So with Act Blue, what Act Blue is this wonderful little platform app. It's web-based and we use it on your cell phone, and it's how you donate directly to a candidate. It's secure, it protects your information, and it gives us the availability to see where our money is actually coming from, who it's coming from, so we can send thank you notes and everything else. But that money is so important because candidates like me need it for door knocking pamphlets, things to hand out, flyers, make sure we have gas to get to the different events and get around and actually door knock. It's also extremely important so that we're able to make sure we're amplifying our voice in your voice. So like we use it for postage stamps, we use the donations to pay our campaign staff, we use it to make sure that we're just running the behind the scenes back office. Those websites aren't free. Your emails going out, that's not free. Making sure that the campaign has staff phones, has staff, which is important because all those correspondence and emails that you see coming out, those are done by somebody, and people are to be paid for their work. And I believe in making sure people are paid for their work, doing rightly so. So the importance of donating directly to Act Blue and not donating to, I mean, there's nothing wrong with donating to the DNC and all of the alphabets. They are amazing. They do great support for the candidates, but they do the support after primaries, after they feel that that candidate is ready and worthy. What gets us on the map is when you make an Act Blue donation, and those Act Blue donations equal up to over 100,000. That lets us know that we're a viable candidate because it's done by you and for you as a grassroots. It's your voice. So it's another way of you just being heard donating to Act Blue. Act Blue is
So I was going to ask you because the touching back on the alphabet and them supporting you, because I think that's important to people. They think, oh well, you're a Democrat, you're running for Senate. The DNC
Hmm.
must be giving you all kinds of money, Natalie.
Right.
And what they don't understand is you're running a primary, right? So the
Right.
DNC isn't going to pick and choose at this point who
Yes.
they're going to support and give money. What they're doing is seeing how you raise money, right? So they're
Yes.
seeing how you're raising money. So does the Act Blue, when they go to Natalie James's Act Blue, right?
Hmm.
Or any other candidate, and they donate to that candidate's Act Blue, does it go directly to the candidate? Does it go to the
Yes.
DNC? How does that work?
It goes directly to the candidate. It skips the DNC. They do their own stuff. Like they
Right.
raised $100 million this last quarter. But
Which
when
is not a bad thing. That's a good thing.
No, it's not. It's a great thing because they're able to spread it out
Right.
hopefully spread it out all over the United States. But when you have a candidate that aligns with the issues that align with you, you want to donate directly to them so that way you can continue to fuel their campaign so that they can be a voice of reason. A lot of times, candidates like me or candidates are left behind and aren't heard from is because they don't have the donations and the support to be able to push them out as much as they need to get out and be able to have their voices be heard. So Act Blue is a very, very instrumental tool for candidates to make sure that we are getting out there. We have the support that we need, and you have the support that you need when you want to go to Washington, when you want state legislation, when you're just running for any office. Act Blue is an amazing, amazing tool that goes directly to the candidate so that the candidate can use it for other office things that are needed, such as stamps, those thank
Right.
you cards,
Right.
saying thank you, being able to pick up the phone.
Bottles of water. I mean,
Mhm.
Bottles of water,
right, we
food.
take
Essentials.
right, exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
Gatorade, the normal
Right,
things.
right.
Right.
These people are working their asses off. They need a
Right.
drink or two here and there. So
Exactly.
So the other thing that you explained in the spaces about the Act
Mhm.
Blue was not just that it goes directly to the candidate. So I think people out there can rest assured that it's a safe way, a secure way to give to a candidate
Yeah.
that you have found that you like, that you want to support, rather in your
Despite what
district.
Republicans may claim
Right.
about,
Yes.
Right,
the
exactly.
Republicans definitely have it like a targeted disinformation campaign, and you saw it throughout 2020 and 2021, which
Mhm.
was, don't trust Act Blue. It is money's going here, right? Despite the fact that their platform, Win
No.
Red, is locking people into recurring donations and caused Trump to have to return all of the fraudulent charges.
Right.
Essentially, is what was done. So,
Mhm.
Right. Well, one of the largest credit card frauds in history,
Right.
like literally in history. But we can rest assured that Act Blue is completely secure. It is going to the candidate that you're giving through their Act Blue.
Yes.
Now, explain though, because you did a really good job of explaining this. Because I think this is another thing that people donating to Democratic campaigns fail to recognize, that money can't go up; it goes down. Right.
Mhm.
So explain how that works when they give to a governor's race or a state legislator's race or a Senate race like yours. Explain how that works.
All right. So, yes, Act Blue is secure. Yes, goes directly to us. I go pick up my own mailbox checks and donate it and put it into my actual campaign account myself. So it lets me know and it makes me extremely happy that we have support. But the best thing about Act Blue and what we're able to do and what we're able to do with your donations is when you find a candidate that's in a congressional race, they can do it and send money down to the constitutional races. They can send it down ticket. So it's important when you have top of the ticket candidates that you support to support them heavily, because guess what? You have a JP, you have a quorum court, you have a city director, you have a school board, somebody that's running might not have the filing fee, might need a little help. We're able
Right.
to transfer those fees to them to make sure that they have the support that they need. So that is the responsibility of top of the ticket. Not many people realize that, and why we go to the top of the ticket, because that's what the federal government is supposed to do. We're supposed to help be the voice and amplify the voice of the people, and so Act Blue allows us to do that. But you have to donate to those top of the ticket um, actual holders, which is important, such as your federal races, such as your Senate race, U.S. Senate race, such as your congressional office, such as your district offices, and things like that. That way, we're able to help out our state constituents who are running for legislator, who are running for state Senate, who are running for House Senate, your local House, and everything else. That's what makes it so important, so we can have a very strong ticket. Because if the top can't support the middle and the bottom, we won't have a foundation and we're not going to have a strong ticket. So we want to make sure that we have an extremely strong ticket and we're able to allocate funds where they need to go, because it's not the responsibility of the party. It's not the responsibility of the DNC. It is the responsibility of the people and those running for the highest office that's going to be your voice. The United States Senate is the highest office that there is. There are 100 people that make decisions that directly affect you. policy, and your future. So you want to make sure that you're donating to those people and that they are representing your voice appropriately. And the best way to do that, again, I know we keep harping on donations, it is to donate, because we do so much more than just going to our campaign. It feeds the campaign for you. It feeds the campaign for the ticket.
Well, and I think that's a fantastic point, that you can help those down ballot races, because if you got a few minutes, I'd like to talk to you about the ticket in Arkansas, but I'd also like to talk to you about a little bit, because you are a Black woman, and I know that you will have opinions about the Supreme Court pick and what the news is and all this bullshit surrounding that Joe Biden can't make the pick that he wants, even though he promised to make it, because that SCOTUS nominee needs to look like America. And I believe you look like America. And I believe America, that SCOTUS needs to look more like you. I truly believe that. And I said yesterday, I'm not just for Joe Biden picking one Black woman. I think he should expand the court and pick 3 or 4 Black women and put them on the court. That would start to fix what the problems that we have. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I want to ask is about your ticket in Arkansas, and then we'll get to the Supreme Court pick. So tell us a little bit, because I know you guys got a really diverse, really strong ticket for the Democrats down there in Arkansas. So anyone watching, tell us about that so they can maybe pay attention more to that ticket down there in Arkansas.
Okay, Arkansas, we are blessed to have one of the most amazing diverse tickets that we've ever seen in history before. You guys have the first opportunity to elect the first Black woman to the United States Senate out of Arkansas. There are currently no Black women sitting in the Senate, which is scary. We know what magic Black women are able to bring, and we know what the nation is needing and what the nation is wanting. So we want to make sure that we amplify those voices. We have in our gubernatorial race, I'm skipping. I forgot my congressional people. Our ticket is so diverse. So we have Monty Hodges running for congressional district. Mm-hmm. He's running for Congressional District 1. That is in Northeast Arkansas. He's been in state legislation for over 11 or 14 years. I can't remember the number exactly, but he is amazing. A Black man. For the first time, we have a Black man running for a congressional office for Congressional District 1. Then for Congressional District 2, we have Dr. Quintessa Hathaway. We have a Black woman. This is the second time we've had a Black woman run for this office, and hopefully this time we get it. Then we have Congressional District 3, Lauren Mallett Hayes, my dear friend. She is a woman, working mother, nurse, everything on the front lines, exactly what we need to have real life experiences here representing all of Arkansans in all of the United States. Then we have Congressional District 4 that's coming up. We still have a couple people who are wanting to get in the race, but again, that is a great start just at the top of the ticket in the congressional seats, because currently those seats are set by 6 congressional Republican members, and they're not indicative of us. They have not had to have the same qualms, issues, bankruptcy, repossession, worried about how they're going to pay rent, worried about how they're going to pay mortgage, worried about how they're going to take care of their children's education, worried about their children and what's going on in public school, because their children aren't in public school, they're in private school, because they're afforded whatever luxuries that they're afforded to and hand down. So when you have somebody that has not had to experience life the way that most Arkansans have had to experience life, they do not think correctly and correlate with what's going on with us currently. None of them can be related to majority of Arkansans are Americans. Then for our district, for our ticket, what we have is our gubernatorial race. We have an amazing slate of candidates. We have James Russell, we have Dr. Anthony Bland, we have Dr. Chris Jones, we have Supah Mays. She's AAPI. She's an Island Pacificer that came over here. She's amazing as well. We have a rocket scientist. Do you hear me? A rocket scientist. Yes, running
a real one, not a Facebook one, not a Facebook rocket scientist.
A self-proclaimed rocket scientist. Turns out they're just a rocket model builder.
Yeah, a cosplay. There we go.
Right. But we have a real one in Arkansas. That is, what seat is the rocket scientist running for?
Governor. He is running for governor against Sarah Huckabee. Now, I don't know about y'all, but Sarah Huckabee didn't do a good job in Washington. And compared to a rocket scientist, I don't think it's rocket science for me to figure out I would rather have somebody that knows exactly what they're doing, trusted by NASA, trusted by literally the space stars.
Right.
I would rather have that type of voice than any other, especially Sarah Huckabee, which is what the Republicans are offering us. They have a great diverse ticket too for them. They have a bunch of women.
Right.
Well,
So,
that's
I'm not-
one step.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
that's one
right.
step in the right
At least they're there. At least they're
Right.
there. So
Yeah.
speaking of diversity and women, of course, this week we know that Justice Breyer is officially going to retire.
Mhm.
It seems like Joe Biden's going to make his pick. During the campaign, Joe Biden promised, made promises that
Mhm.
he would really heavily consider and probably more than likely pick a black woman if a SCOTUS seat would come up.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic choice. Number one, because we've never had a black woman on the court before.
Exactly.
I believe that black women, being some of the most educated people in the country, I don't know exactly what the percentages is, but like 60-some% of all master's degrees, 60-some% of all doctorates, and bachelor's degrees
Small
are
business.
black women. What's
And
that?
small
And
business.
small
Yeah, small
businesses.
business. There, so the smartest, most educated group of people in this country, more than qualified. What I find funny about it is that they're like, "Oh, you're just picking her because she's black." I'm like, "Do you have any idea how many black women that are qualified to be on the Supreme Court?"
Right.
Like the list is probably so long that Joe Biden is going to have to take weeks and weeks and weeks just to figure out if the top tier that he had already really that he had in his mind to nominate, if there's not someone else to stick in that spot. And really, there's so many qualified black women to be on this Supreme Court that no one even knows who he's going to pick. Like they're making assumptions.
Right.
Exactly.
But normally you're like, oh, well, there's going to be this guy who's a sweaty white ball sack, and that is exactly who they're going to pick, and they know exactly who they're going to pick.
Right.
But there's so many qualified black women to be on this court that no one is even. I don't even think no one's going to guess exactly right, but they're
No.
just all over the map. So tell us your opinion, because I know you probably have an opinion on this. So
I
tell us
have
what
a
your opinion.
very strong opinion. I
Let's
mean,
hear
if
it.
we have somebody who ran for office and said that they promised they're going to build a wall and didn't do it, then I think we should be able to have somebody say, I promise to elect a black woman or nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court. Keep in mind, he's not the first president to do it.
Right.
Reagan
To promise,
did
to
do
make the
this.
promise, right? To make the promise.
Exactly. At least we know he's going to follow through because that wall is still not finished down there, as
Right,
they
right,
like
right.
to bring up so much. If we're going to talk about those empty promises, talk about the empty promises that were already cast before
Right.
with that previous, whatever we guys want to call 45. We're going
Just
to
that
say
growth.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that cancerous growth. That's what I'm going to call him, the cancerous growth, because that's what he's done. He's infected America with the cancer of hate and spreading that type of division and talking about identity politics.
Right.
No, we're electing the most qualified, and the most qualified on that list happen to be a strong list of black women.
Right.
That's not our fault. Don't penalize us because those are the most qualified candidates at the time.
And they're scared. I mean, that's what it is,
Exactly.
right? They're afraid. You've got, Ted Cruz, foot in the mouth, saying the other day, he's like,
Fucking
oh,
bonehead.
how can, we elect some women or a woman, a black woman to be on the bench? And it's like, okay, well, I guess we're
What
going
do
to.
you
Yeah, I think he said insulting was actually
Right,
the way
yeah.
he said it's
he was
insulting.
insulted. What we're
Right.
insulted by is allowing him to kiss up to somebody who talked about his wife. Let's just talk about that first.
Right, exactly.
Your husband,
Who could you possibly be talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like
exactly.
insulted. Let's talk about, we're
your
coming up on.
puppies
Right.
that you left at home.
Right. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Cancun
Yep.
Cruz going down to Mexico on
And we
behalf
have
of his
another storm
daughters.
coming in, and you
Right.
still have not fixed the grid.
Right.
And let's talk about that, to be upset
Right.
and offended.
Like on
about.
behalf
That's
of
what
all
we're offended
Texans,
by.
yo, what's up with the grid?
That's insulting, right?
Exactly. So
Exactly.
let's not talk about what's insulting, offending, or anything else,
Right.
because he's just an egregious insult on the world.
Yeah.
So he's an embarrassment.
If
But
there's
we're not-
one thing I will say is the podcast, he sits in an armchair, and I really.
Oh, you're talking about Ted Cruz's.
Yeah, on Ted Cruz.
yeah,
He's
okay.
got his,
he has
whatever
an
his.
armchair.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
got
got an
like
armchair.
he's got a little like
He's got the
leather armchair.
microphone. He's got the
Yeah, and I'm
armchair.
just like, oh, he's just an armchair senator, right? Like that's all. He's just.
That's
he
perfect.
has.
That's perfect.
He's, thinks
Yeah,
he's an
he's for
expert on
decoration.
something.
Well,
Right, exactly.
You know, he put out a list this morning. Speaking of that fuck, he put out a list
yeah.
this morning on Twitter about how to be prepared for winter, and everyone's like, check
I saw
for your
that.
check for your Cancun plane tickets. Like,
But
oh my
Call
God.
local travel agents.
He stopped the child tax credit, which would enable people to be able to be prepared for that.
That's
You're
right,
asking
right.
people who are,
Which is inflation protection, by the way. The child tax credit is inflation
that's
protection.
it.
And now I believe that we should actually, and I don't know what your view is, and I'm sure I could guess pretty clearly, but my view is that we should actually include inflation protection to all Americans, retired, working families, whether they have children or not. We should provide inflation protection because of what we went through with the coronavirus and the pandemic, and how the last fucking idiot mismanaged it so badly that, we're trying to get our way out of this economy, and inflation is happening because it's eating up so fast because there's so much demand.
Yes.
But back to the SCOTUS pick. The thing that makes me is, I don't know if it's annoyed or laugh, is when they say you're making it all about race, and like, look, black women are black. Black women are black. Like that. Like what? How?
It's always
How in the
been
hell?
about race,
Yeah,
because
right,
it's
exactly.
always been the same normal status quo. It has
That's
always
right.
been that, and now you're upset that it's going to change a little bit, and it makes you uncomfortable. Guess what?
That's
You'll
right.
be okay.
They're a
It's
little
Exactly.
scared. They're a
world.
little
This is-
terrified.
There are
Yeah.
people with color in the world. You will be okay.
That's
We're
right.
not going to bite you. We're not going to hurt you. We're
Right.
going to do what's in the best interest of you, because we are here with you. So we're going to always make sure we're taking care of you, because inherently it takes care of us, regardless of how well you don't take care of yourself with ivermectin and now what is it, wormwood and other things like that. We're still going to take care of you, because that's what you deserve, because you are an American and you have your freedom of rights and speech and everything else. But allow us to do our job and allow
Right.
us to make this nation back whole again where it needs to be. It's a lot put on our shoulders, and yes, we are extremely tired of having to come in and fix the same messes that are being messed up, but this time let us fix it so we don't have to mess it up again.
Right.
Well, Natalie, I really appreciate you coming on, and you're at the.
Thank you.
I love your the way you talk, and how you go after these folks. I guess I'll be nice and call them folks today.
You're nice.
I really do appreciate you coming on. You're gonna have to come back on. We'll have to find more times to have you on. I do
definitely.
appreciate you joining us. Thank you very much.
Thank
We'll
you
talk
so
to you very,
much.
very soon.
Yes, I appreciate you. Now I'm getting ready to hop on these.
One more thing before we go. Where do people go find your campaign? Tell us.
Yes, jamesforarkansas.com. Yes,
Okay.
people powered. You guys are paying for that. That's why that website is still there, up and running. So jamesforarkansas.com. You can check me out on Twitter. I'm very active on Twitter at
Okay.
James for AR. You can check me out on Instagram. I'm very active on there. You can check me out at James for Arkansas on TikTok. Yes, I have a TikTok. And it's
Tiki Talks. Gabe
TikTok.
likes the Tiki
Yes,
Talks. I got a
yes,
TikTok now too.
Shaky Ducky Quack Quack. I'm TikTok. And then of course Facebook, and I'm getting better at being active on there. But yes, I greatly enjoyed this. I can't wait to do it again and reach more people, because this is what it is. It's going to take us having these uncomfortable conversations and making them comfortable and normal, so that we can address the issues and right the wrongs, and we can grow.
Do this democracy thing, right? Like actually
Just
govern
a little
and do
bit of
policy.
democracy. I mean,
Like, do
that's
some
just what we're
Crazy
policy.
concept.
on.
Crazy
Yeah, right,
concept.
Who would want to do democracy inside of a democracy?
I don't know. Somebody that, like, what's his name? Our favorite person, Alexander Hamilton, maybe.
Mhm.
When they kind of wrote this constitution, like,
Right. They wanted to do the democracy thing.
Keep it going.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Well, thank you for joining us, Natalie. We'll talk to you very, very, very soon. Thank you. Have a good one.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Hard
See
work
ya.
out there. Hard work. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Oh, great.
Oh,
She's awesome.
We got to have her back on
Yeah.
every week, maybe. She does a great job of going after Ted Cruz. I like that. I would love to hear her go after Tom Cotton. I mean, that's
I
the
wanted
one I want her to go after
Oh.
is Tom Cotton. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
She would be after my
I wanted
heart.
to ask. Yeah.
After
is,
my
is
heart,
she going? Is she going after his seat or the other guy's seat?
So it is Tom Cotton's seat.
Okay.
Because
There's John Boozman.
Is
and
it
Tom-
Boozman? It's
Yeah.
Boozman. It's Boozman. It's Boozman.
Yeah.
That's coming.
I can
That's right.
verify.
But yeah, I want her take on, of course, her opponent too, who the general election. But I'd love,
Right.
I love to hear Natalie, tie up Tom Cotton and drag him through the mud. That would be fantastic. So maybe next week we'll, because Tom Cotton's always doing something stupid in the news. Like
Tom
this guy,
Cotton is an
he was
idiot.
saying something dumb yesterday. I don't know what the hell was he saying yesterday. He was trending yesterday because he said fucking something dumb.
Oh
This
god.
guy.
Oh yeah,
That's funny.
I would yeah, because she's going at it's John Boozman's seat that is up for
Right.
re-election. So if she can nab that seat, that would be great. You know,
Yes.
I'm pushing for her, and obviously to have, you know, some sense of balance and reality and intelligence. I mean, even from the small conversation I had with her, it's like, yeah, she cares about
Right.
the American people as opposed to these other folks,
Right.
as you said.
Yeah, but fuck them. These fucks. These fucks. That's what I have to say.
Yeah.